Why?
Live? It's no, it's gone live. It's live.
We're
It's
live.
straight live. I can see. Yeah.
We're live, yeah? All
Yeah.
right.
All right. So much for the video and shit. Or should I still play
You know that.
it? Yeah, it's live now. So.
It's a risk. It's a risk.
Oh dear. So we just got Nova on the screen.
We're live. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Hello,
Yep.
people.
We've got Nova on the screen. We're not even telling everyone. What's good? It's so good to have you in the group. Just I'm like,
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm having some struggles hearing.
We need to.
Oh, mate. All right, you're back now, I think. Go on, Nat. What was you saying? Oh, she's frozen again. Nova, I think she was saying it's good to have you because when you're in the group, you're very vocal. We love what you have to say. You usually stick up for us, though.
And it's shame.
Yeah, I stick up for the women.
Why is that? How come?
Known for.
It's a breath of fresh air. So
I think like I just became interested about 6-7 years ago in kind of women's rights. I think at first I became quite active in like anti-racism, being in a hip hop space my whole life. And there was some kind of content that came out of that. And naturally, a lot of women who got involved in that kind of started talking about women's issues as well. And I've got a teenage daughter. I don't like giving that as the reason, but obviously that kind of makes me see what she goes through and stuff like that. And I've had other like women in my life who've gone through certain things that I realized were from the behaviors of men that were just not right. And it made me just want to learn more, want to be better myself. I realized at some point things that I was doing that was kind of toxic and stuff like that, and decided, right, I got to do better. So now, because I've just become a bit educated on some of these issues, when I see certain generic narratives, I already have the response in my head. So I just can't help myself. Sometimes I think, should I just scroll past? But I can't help. I have to go in the comments and get involved.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I love your comments. I must say, and it's refreshing to hear a guy be able to break it down for both sides. Do you know what I mean? And not just make things. So I know you're. How do you know Natalie? Talk to me about it, because Natalie says that you. Sorry?
Go on. What does she say? She can't say it for herself. But what was you gonna say?
She says that she knows you from you're quite an esteemed rapper. I think she knows you from the industry.
She could do, yeah, but I know her from online, from my memory, just from these kind of groups. But I don't know if it was this group originally or another one. I can't really remember. But yeah, it could have been from a number of things. But yeah, I was a rapper originally. And that's where I kind of got my following. So it's like now that I'm not doing that so much, it's interesting. I'm kind of enjoying the type of like being able to put out some of these messages that are a bit different in that space and challenge those people there. And because I have a voice in that world, it's Natalie joining us on another one now.
Yes, it looks like it. Well, I think she's got us echoing in the background now.
Yeah, we've got a little echo going on.
Yeah. Sorry.
There you are, though.
Yeah.
There you are, though.
I've got an issue, though, because it's only letting me join through my mobile. I've got 2 laptops. It's not having it with them, but it seems to be fine on my mobile. But I've got a whole, obviously, we've got a whole slideshow.
I could do the slideshow from here. It's letting me do the slideshow.
Run.
Okay,
cool.
sorry guys. What did I miss?
You're loud and clear from there.
But I can't see the slideshow. You have to add it back in.
We'll have to add it back in.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see what's happened with the slideshow now. I think now you've come off of that device.
All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it in and then I'm going to throw the device out the window. No, I'm joking. I'm going to add it in and then put the device in another room.
Actually, you sent it to me on Dropbox. So you lot chop it up. You lot talk, because I was because I was explaining to Nova that we love his standpoint in the group. And I was asking how comes he has such advocacy for women, if you like, because a lot of the times when you read the comments, he can see it from our point of view, which is refreshing. Doesn't happen often at all. So I thought that you guys knew each other from the industry, and he was saying no, it's more online and stuff like that. So now that you're here, you guys talk, and let me see if I can figure out the Dropbox.
Sorry about that.
All right, cool.
All right.
Okay.
It's all good, man. Technology is technology,
honestly,
isn't
it? And we always like to say to people, do you know what? It's a really laid back podcast. It's just us guys talking.
Yeah.
It's no frills. I'm a person, if it's all official, I just shut down. Do you know what I mean? I need to be. We try to keep it real. Yeah, as real and no bravado, so that everyone else that comes on feels comfortable. But sometimes it likes to show us up.
Like, that's all right. It's not you, innit? It's not you. You don't represent the thing, you know. And it's cool. And I've caught that vibe from the group. I think I've seen some of these streams here and there as well. So you know, you don't post some interesting debates, and I've enjoyed commenting on you guys' stuff because it's sometimes different. It's not the obvious stuff that's written somewhere else. I don't know if it's because it's run by women. Is it all women, mostly women on the team?
Yeah, it's just me and Trish. So it's just me and Trish.
You two,
yeah. But what we do is obviously we will put posts in, but right now we've got like over 600 pending posts. So people are allowed to put posts in to topic. So a lot of the posts.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, we approve them and let because what we want to do is, this is not a set post. So this is not like a specific kind of niche. We're not going for, we're not talking about, like you've got the baby mother or baby father post. You've got, there's different types of podcasts, but this is just general chit chat about loads of different things. So sometimes it will be about really serious things or political issues, racial issues or whatever. And sometimes it's literally about pure foolishness. Do you know what I mean? No bravado, and there's no right or wrong answer. That's what I've learned. Obviously with certain things there's right or wrong, but it's interesting to hear different people's perspective of things, and it's interesting that since we've done it, my perspective on certain things has changed because I'm quite stubborn.
Oh, that's dope though.
Yeah, so like for me, I've never thought of like guys are sensitive. I've never thought of guys in a certain way or that they might think or feel. I've never taken that into consideration. I've just thought guys are jokers. They're just jokers and they just mess about. I ain't got time. But when you hear some of them experiences, and this hurt me and that hurt me, and they went through this and this hurt, and they experienced this and that, and I'm like, really? And at first I struggled to believe them. Do you get what I'm saying? That you didn't hurt, stop lying. But as time's gone on, it opens your mind as well. Like you can't just go just by experience. You do believe there is another side.
That's great though. That the thing that that's your example of something you've learned is that guys can be sensitive, because all of these other podcasts that are going on, these men's space podcasts that I'm warring with, they don't allow men to be sensitive. Pretty much, so it's like for you to have noticed that men in your space, and I see some toxic stuff in there here and there when I get involved, but it's not crazily like there is in others. But that's dope. So you must be doing something where they kind of feel comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah, we hope so. It's been a process, and like you said, sometimes we see things and we're like, what are you talking? What is wrong with you? Or it's like, just say you hate women and go, like, please. But then there's been some people, obviously, where it's been like, it's opened your mind, like, oh, I didn't even know men cared, or I didn't even know they thought about that, or I didn't even. So there's different kind of, you know, certain guys were saying before, do you know how hard it is for a guy when they break up? And I thought, no, it ain't. You lot just fuck about and move on and do what you're doing. And a guy was explaining his point of view.
No, it's hard out here, man.
It's hard out here. And, you know, you don't think about...
But they hide it. We hide it, you know?
You hide it well. Yeah, you hide it well. So it's just good. It's been good in that perspective to kind of get a... to get that other point of view. And it softened me a little bit towards guys, being a bit more sensitive to... Yeah, and that women do scorn too. Women scorn men too. It's not just them do the scorning. We do have to hold accountability as women do stuff as well. So it has.
I think I get in trouble for not talking about that ever. But I just don't like. I think we spend so much time. Like I say, I love your space. You'll show all of those sides. But for me, I just feel like we spend so much time talking about women scorning and women do this and women do that. I'm just like, I'm only going to talk about this side, and for most of the time. But not to say like here we're going to have a conversation today that I won't talk about it. It's just it's not my narrative. But do you guys like? Do you think you make posts sometimes intentionally to kind of get that response, to get those crazy comments going?
Yeah, sometimes you might. Sometimes you might drop a little bomb here and there, like, you know, like, okay. And sometimes I'll see something that's wild and I'll be like, I've got to get these mad people's views on this because our group is wild. So it's like, I've got to know what they think. I've got to know what they think about this. And it's just because all of no matter what topic we put on, there's never like a unanimous vote. The opinions are always so very different. So it's good to get that. And sometimes, you drop a little bombing because you know it's going to wind them up. It's just hilarious because you just know that's going to wind them right up. And then sometimes I might put something in the group at 7:30 in the morning or 8:30 and be like, starting the bullshit early today, and then kind of leave it to kind of simmer in the comments. But then there's some things we put in there just for complete banter. And it's just be, and we say to everyone, if you're a pearl clutcher or under 18, this group is not for you. So if you're highly sensitive and offended by everything, it's just not gonna be for those people, because it is a space where people are allowed to say their views, but they're allowed to have those views challenged as well. As long as
that's what freedom of speech is.
Yeah.
People forget that part. A lot of people want to say their views without allowing challenge.
We've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen people get onto you for saying a view before.
They're onto me. They stay onto me.
And so we have to be like, no, like, if you want to challenge a view, you might see something and not agree. And my two go-tos are, if I see something and I don't agree, I'm either going to scroll on or I'm going to challenge it. But I'm going to challenge it. I'm not going to be like, are you a dickhead, bruv? I don't understand, you know, when they come off straight like that, and I don't get it. I think there's just ways of doing it.
I think people feel like that about me sometimes, though. I think I meet in the middle somewhere of like saying something intelligent and actually like, you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I see a comment and it's like, this is bad to really look at it like this, but I'm like, I already know everything you're going to say to me in the next few comments. When I say this, I know you're going to say this, and I know it's going to go like this. So sometimes in my brain, I skip like 8 comments and go straight to the 8th comment in my brain, which is probably bad.
But you know what? Even if you get passionate, it's fine. But we've had people tell people, go and tell your mum this or that because of a comment. And it's like, You know, this is it's real life, but it's not real life. Like, it's real life, but it's not like you don't need to stop telling someone about someone's mum. Like, it's obvious it's not that.
Yeah.
No,
they do that to me. Or they do that to me often, because it's like, what did someone say about your mum or your something to me today? Remember, I've just had these things. I haven't been posting them on Facebook, so I don't know if you've seen them. They've been on Instagram, but I did a podcast a couple of days ago. I get asked to go on men's podcasts all the time, like these loads of these men. They call them red pill podcasts, and I've been saying no for the last year, because I just even like I've mentioned a lot about Pearl. That what's her name? Just Pearl.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But she's massive now. She's got like 1 million subscribers. I've been asked to go on a show like 5 times. I said no every time, because I just thought, I know you guys are trying to stitch me up and put a caption that says, "Male feminist idiot embarrasses himself." That's what you're gonna write on the top, and then you're gonna like. So I've just been like, nah. But I did one the other day, but because I felt like it wasn't as toxic.
Combative.
They had women on the show. They tried to get them to say ratchet stories and stuff, but they don't like embarrass them so much. So I did it, but I just knew when I don't do this, the comments are gonna come for me. Like, they're just onto me. Like, they posted a video today of me talk. Yeah, they've been coming. It's been mostly support, to be honest, but they've come for me in a lot. Like today, they posted a clip of me talking about being a single father and looking after my daughter, right? And in it, I also say about her mum having a new relationship a while ago, but at the time, and me being okay with that. And like, there's men in the comments going, "Oh my God, you're a simp." Like, for that.
You're a simp because you're not dysfunctional.
For raising my child. Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy. And someone's like, "Nah, basically, your ex left you. She's running off to get next D, and you're just getting buoyed," kind of thing, basically. Like, but that's not my circumstances for a start. You know what I'm saying? And I've kind of explained it in the thing. Like, so it's just mad. They'll find any angle.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you gotta have thick skin. Sometimes I will go to Trisha and I'll be like, "You see these people, you know what?" And she'll be like, "You know what it is, yeah." If we're gonna keep going with this, we gotta know how to take it. Because I'm a person. I can let a lot of things roll off my back. I don't care. I can be very nonchalant like that as well. Like, whatever. It's not real life. It's on the internet. And then sometimes you just might catch me on a bad day. I might be due on. I could have had a bad day at work. It could be anything. And I'm not in the mood to see your stupidness. And Trish will be like, "You know what? Man. As we grow, that kind of thing's going to grow, because we don't hold back and we do say what we think. That's the popular or unpopular. But we're always open to other people's viewpoints. We've both not changed our minds, but had an open mind to many things when we've heard things and be like, all right, that makes sense. Yeah. But to me, if something don't make sense, then I'm not going to change my mind.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be able to do that. I think people think that I won't do that. But to be honest, I didn't, like, all these, like, for the women's issue stuff, for example, I didn't think like that, like, 10 years ago. If Andrew Tate was out 10 years ago, I might have thought he was great. Like, I don't know. I'm not 100%, because I might not have been all the way there, but there was definitely things in my thinking. Like, some of this stuff they talk about, women keep breaking up relationships, and, you know, there's biases that I might have leaned into when I was younger. But I had to learn, at some point I had to go, you know what, I'm probably wrong on that, and take some new information. You know?
Yeah.
Do you ever have anyone on this bit who you strongly, like, disagree with, like, come on the show like this?
Yeah. Last year and the year before, we had like a regular panel that kept coming on, especially.
Yeah.
And the males and one of the females in the panel, we used to go at it. Like, you would think it's arms on sight, but it wouldn't be. As soon as we come off, we'd all be chatting normal.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I know. We'd be on the podcast like, "Are you dumb? Are you chatting shit again? Like, what is wrong with? Shut up!" Like, it would just get, because it would just be wild things, and then that female was always had the misogynistic view of them, and that used to blow my mind. So the guys used to say things like, "If a guy didn't want to have your baby and you had his baby, why are you asking him for child support? That's your problem.
Oh yeah, that one. That one winds me up.
That's that one. And you, if you're a single mum, it's your fault because you keep picking stupid men. Like it's different shit like that.
Yeah.
And then she'd be there like, yeah, it's you.
Nah, that's basic, man. Mad basic.
So in there we used to go, and honestly it used to go on for like 5 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the views and the comments and all the people in the comments, because it's live and you can comment, people would comment live and get involved, and then other people be like, can I hop on? Can I hop on? Because it was on Zoom, and then they would
I should have come on. I should have come on and had your back then.
Honestly, we needed you then. We held our own. We held our own, but we needed you then. We needed the male. We had a few males that come on and backed it every so often, but there was just it was. But that was it was thingy, but I enjoyed going it for them. I just enjoyed cheering them.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. It's definitely fun. I've been like, I haven't been able to bring myself to start doing it in this kind of content. Like I say, I did that podcast the other day, but I'm thinking it's just time. Like you see me on social media, I go at it, but like I was just dreading going on someone else's platform where I'm gonna like they're now gonna own this content and control how they promote it and release it and the people that come for me. But I've done it now. So this week it all started basically. So here we go.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy this one. We hope you enjoy this
Definitely.
one. But
I'm sure I will.
Before we go into it quickly, I just want you, just for the people that might not know, and we're not going to obviously do like a traditional interview, but if you could just let them know like your background, what it is you do.
Yeah, so I was a rapper originally. I was in a group called Mud Family very long time ago. So like we were out, that group started in the late 90s and I joined it in the early 2000s. I was like a young member, so I'm not as old as that makes me sound. Do you know what I'm saying? But so we were one of the early UK hip hop groups. I mean, at that time, it's a bit before grime started, and then as that kind of came out, but we were one of the biggest UK hip hop groups, I guess, of that time. That's a kind of a forgotten era now. And then I just stayed in the industry over the years. I had a solo career and did everything you could do in music at that time, as far as Channel U and all the radio stations you could kind of be on. SPTV once they Jamal Edwards, rest in peace, featured me on a feature called UK Legends, and that was quite meaningful to my career because it was showing people that were around at a before time. And then I just stayed. I've always been someone who's like, right, okay, if that music's not making money anymore, where's going to be the money in this industry? So I did a YouTube channel, I did journalism, I got involved in political campaigns. I just done so many different things, always within the music industry, like events, event promotions, and that's and radio, which is kind of what led me into this type of content. So I had a radio show about 7 years ago, which was basically a podcast before everyone had a podcast.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So I don't know.
You've done a lot. You've done a lot.
Kind of me.
Nova, share this to your page, please, darling.
Oh, definitely. I shared a link. Oh yeah, you've just tagged me or something, right?
Yeah. So where I've tagged you, you can share that live stream.
And everyone who's watching, if you could just share it to your page, that will help us with our numbers and so on and so forth. Why am I not
seeing it though? I'm seeing Trisha tagged you in a post, but then when I click on it, it's not. It's like not showing me it. I put something on my post already where I shared the group, but I know what I'm gonna do.
Nova.
I know what I'm gonna do. Is it on? All right, here's Natalie. Right.
I just love T's move, you know. He's so.
Yeah. Hey T.
Yeah. All right. So let me. You ready to go into the slideshow?
So we're gonna hit. So I think I told you a bit about it in it. We chop up all the topics in there. I sent you the topics before. So yeah.
I can only remember one of them, so we're gonna just go. We're gonna roll. I've shared it on my page now as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. The angle that is, I look bored completely.
Hang on, I think this is giving me the wrong slideshow.
Oh no, we've got last week's.
Yeah.
Or next week's.
Oh, today's not the day.
Honestly, it started off. This whole week started off like, you know, when your Monday starts off a bit mad, and you just know that the rest of the week, is not gonna be straightforward.
The weeks.
Yeah, is what it is.
I can find it. Slides from my computer. This is definite. That was definitely me. It kept the slide from our last show with Legs. I went to his party on Saturday. It was good.
Was it good? Yeah, you were saying it was good.
Yeah, it was good. I really had no business being out and about in these streets because I've not been that well. But yeah, it was good to go and have a little
stretch your legs, man.
We say we need StreamYard admin. I'm sure it's because we used T-Smooth that we got StreamYard, because I think it was you and somebody else. It might have been Leslie. I can't remember, who kept saying get StreamYard, get StreamYard. On the most part, it's all right. It's just getting used to it and stuff like that. All right, so here we go. This seems like this is the right slide. This looks about right.
We
go.
Look at us.
Look at us looking good, bro.
What's your ethnic origin?
I'm English. I'm English, you know.
Yeah.
Like
really?
my four grandparents are all English. Nobody believes me when I tell them this, so I need to do the ancestry test. But my mom's done it on her side, and it's like I think actually we're Scottish somewhere along the line. But yeah, other than that, English.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, Nat, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So we have recently started our Black Excellence CIC. So we're looking here at celebrating and elevating different Black-owned businesses and service providers by platforming them via our numerous events, markets that we're going to put on, and workshops. So if you do have a Black-owned business or you provide a service and you want to register with us, then register with us at blackexcellencecic@gmail.com. But we will put that in the comments, where to email us.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm excited
I'll share
about
that
that
as well. I'll share that as well.
Oh, thank you.
Let
me put that in.
So this was inboxed to me, and I can't even see. Can you see to read it? So it's a conversation between two exes that share a kid, and can you read it now? Or
yeah, it's basically. So this is the text between two co-parents. Well, I don't even know if it's co-parents. So she says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Stranger. Just a heads up, me and blah 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 are getting married in June. We decided to hyphen surnames together to make it one, Johnson McLean. Now their daughter is saying she would like this to be her new surname, which we thought was sweet. We don't hear much from you, so I don't think this changes much for you, but just wanted to let you know." He says, "Yes, long time. We both know why it's been this long. I'm alive. While I'm alive, no one is changing my child's name. Not too sure what you lot are smoking down there to think you can message me this. It's just one of the games that you're playing. So she said, trust me, getting married is no game, considering you didn't want to sign a certificate when she was born anyway. She wants to feel part of our union. You barely see her unless it's her birthday, Christmas or sports day. There's still about 360 more days in a year to make an effort. She can't be that important to you. Be grateful her stepdad takes her on more than you do. It's just a name. It's her choice. I'm not asking for permission. I'm letting you know. He then says, don't play dumb. You know why my name is not on the birth certificate when we had to do a DNA test because you were running around on these streets. You are right. You don't need my permission, but I'm telling you now, it's not happening.
So that was inboxed to us by one of our members. And
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Male point of view, what do you think? Nova?
You're asking me? It's a weird one, right? So I think my natural instinct in these things is to get like I kind of lean to the siding with the woman in these situations. But I'm a father. I've not been in that situation, but I've been in a situation where there's discrepancies on child arrangements and things like that. So I can see how I would react maybe similarly to say, the things in it that would hit me hard here in the chest, like the bits where it's like, you should be glad the stepdad is doing more than you. But if that's the truth, then that is the truth. But I know that would just hit here. But I think I would have to know if it was the truth that that's your own fault. It seems, it's hard to say, what's true and what's fully and what's not. But he's saying something about a DNA test. So once your DNA test is done, now your responsibility is to be involved. And if they're saying you're still not involved, you can also go and apply to be on a birth certificate after that. If you didn't want to be on a birth certificate because of a DNA test, you're taking a risk. You thought that actually trying to prove the child wasn't yours was more important, maybe. That's sticky in itself. The most important part, I think, is that it's the child asked for it, and you want the child to be comfortable. If they took this into a court and said, I want to stop this happening, the court is going to say, what does the child want?
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you think now?
I thought, I don't know with this one. I mean, you're letting him know, I get it. And then I thought, are you just winding him up at some points? When she was messaging him. And then I thought, well, she is saying you're not there. You're not there. You're not active. You only see her on birthdays. You don't act bothered. So would you be bothered? And I do think, I don't know, if you don't play an active role, is it really about, you don't care for the rest of the time? Is it really about the child and your bond with your daughter, or what that means for your daughter and your family legacy? Or is it ego?
Because it's mostly going to be ego for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be ego, because if you don't give a shit for the other 360 days of the year, you don't really pay. I don't know if did she mention about paying for her?
She said you only see him 3 times a year.
Okay.
Birthday, Christmas, and something else or something like that. She said you're not active. And she said your name's not even on the birth certificate. So he turned around and said, well, you know why my name's not on the birth certificate? We had to get a DNA test because you was out here in these streets. So
to me, that sounds like an excuse. That sounds like I think, I don't know, I can't say that every time, but I think men who jump need a DNA test, unless you wasn't in a relationship or it was something that just happened. It's a techie one. Because I think a lot of guys will try and avoid parental responsibility. But I'm making assumptions all the same.
Because someone was saying in the comments, I don't know if you captured it on because there was a few comments, but someone was saying if this is an American case, which I thought was quite interesting, that if you rush to put your name on the birth certificate and then you find out afterwards that the child is not yours, you can't just relinquish responsibility if your name is on the birth certificate. And I was like,
no, that's wild. That's wild.
That's crazy. So surely if it then comes to light that actually mum was a sneaky link and the youth's not his, why would he have to then still have the responsibilities? But they're saying apparently that's why people don't rush to put their name on birth certificates in the US because of that fact.
Right.
I want that.
That's invitational, boy.
I need that verified, but yeah, if that's the case, that's crazy.
The madness, right?
That is
my
mad.
opinion. I don't know, because my opinion is I sat on the fence with this one, which is what I said in the caption. Because if the kid is saying that they want to change their name, that's probably because, like, if they go on to have other kids, that particular child doesn't want to feel left out.
Yeah.
So if they live in the household with mum's getting married to somebody else, they go on to have another family, like more kids in the family. They've all got the same name and she's the odd one out. I can see why the child would want to change her name. But at the same time, I still feel like that's taking away all kind of rights from the dad, which I'm not entirely sure is right either.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I wonder what their dialogue regularly is like. I just wonder what is, because that's just one snapshot. It'll be nice, to kind of know how it has gone. And I think if you had your name's not on the birth certificate because you didn't know, once you obviously found out because you are actively now in your daughter's life, why isn't your name on the birth certificate now?
Or why aren't you involved enough for them to actually feel like, no, actually, I don't think this is right. To because your dad's here and he's really involved in your life, so I don't think you should like change your name from his. There's one thing, it's like it's a beautiful thing that the child could be that like comfortable in this new union that she really wants to be like, no, I want to be the same as you guys and a part of it. That must show something quite special. But then, devil's advocate, which I rarely ever do from this side of it. What if the child didn't say it and they're just kind of saying that because she wants, because she is trying to just go, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that is possible. Do you know what I'm saying? She could be like, oh yeah, it could be her idea and put it that she's put forward, and she just because there was, it could be about pushing you. It also could be about pushing you to say, hey, you should be involved.
Yeah.
Look, this is what's going on because you're not. You know?
I got that vibe. I got a tiny little bit of a winding up in there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got a tiny twinge of that vibe, but they say you can't really read into messages. That's why you need to pick up the phone. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I mean, if you've got me and my kid's dad, we don't get on like a super house on fire. We're not mortal enemies, but he's definitely involved enough for me to not even think about doing that.
Yeah.
So how not uninvolved is he, or are you just trying to wind him up? Or I don't know.
There's a comment there saying sounds like a mediation between all parties would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Too smooth. And that's true. Like, there are services you can go to. But now the father in that situation, I guess, would have to be the one to say, no, look, this is what we're going to have to do. I think we need to go to a mediation and talk about this. And a lot of men, maybe just a lot of men and women, are not really ready to do that. They don't know how to, I've done all of those kind of things myself. So, I have my child most of the time.
I've heard a lot of guys say things like, yeah, well, she didn't let me see her or him, or she didn't do this. And as much as it's not right what they've done, and you shouldn't have to do this. Okay, but what have you done? I've just left it. And then when she but what have you done to actively show your child that you're fighting for her? Not that you should have to fight to see your child.
No, for sure.
Don't get me wrong, but you shouldn't have to. And but I think sometimes it's easy to say, yes, don't let me. That's your child.
Oh no, some people run with that. They're like, okay, cool, because it's now not my fault. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I can just go, oh, she didn't let me, so this is the narrative and it's her fault. But she's there saying it's your fault. So nobody's really achieving anything. So I think the mediation comment definitely is, sensible. Because at some point people got to drop their egos and just think of the kids in those situations, you know. But other than a couple of digs, I don't, I'm with you on the fence that I just don't really know whether this is a situation where it's just trying to create something, or whether it's just actually she's out there trying to fix something so that the child has a new situation and is actually comfortable. And it's mad because I did this podcast, the clip this podcast I did yesterday, actually, they asked me, I talked about having my child, and they said, has her mum moved on? And I talked about her mum was in a relationship, right? And they were like, oh, are you okay with that? So we got into that kind of conversation. And I was like, yeah, I was actually, that was like, I prefer that to not, because it's like, okay, she's now in a relationship. I'm not worried about what she's up to running off, if those are things I'm going to worry about. She's happy, she's with one person. And on a deeper level that I didn't get into, it's like, I thought this before, it's like, oh, actually her making a new family where that person is actually, that like stepdad, for example, is in my daughter's life, and showing my daughter a example of what a healthy relationship looks like, because we obviously haven't shown that in our separation. That's something she needs to see, and I haven't created that in my life since separation. So I sit here sometimes I sit here wishing her mum had done that, or wishing I had as well. And that's my responsibility too, but I wish. So I would actually love her mum to have a relationship that's really great and healthy and all of that, and that my child grows up seeing something, because they're going to copy us one day. And if we're sitting here going, oh, no, you tried to sabotage me over a name, which is going to hit here, it's going to hurt, I get it, but you said ego, it's about us, it's not about them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Some people in the comments were asking how old is the child. She was a minor. That's all they described. They didn't say that what her age was. She was a minor. Because the dad went on to say once she stops being a minor, then
she
can make her own decision. But until then, no one's not changing my child's name. Yeah. Charlene,
go for it.
Charlene confirmed that in the US, let's see if I can find the comment what she actually said. It's true. Once you sign the certificate, you have to go to court to get it removed, and it's not certain you will. So if that's the case, then I can understand why people wouldn't want to do it. And like Flip said, I guess it is about the child and showing the child positive kind of, ways to have a relationship and how things should be. But does that mean excluding the father altogether? Or because if he's not that active, would removing his name make him even less part of the fold?
Yeah, that's a good point.
He said it's only a name. So me, if I was on the other side of that, I'd be like, if it's only a name, why are you so thingy on changing it? Do you know what I mean? I'd kind of flip it back and kind of use it on her. I think someone having your surname or not, I think in history has proves that it doesn't make a difference.
I don't know. I think for men it's something that's so prideful and meaningful. I don't know. I'm not saying that's good or not. It just is. I've got my mum's surname randomly. I don't really know why that was either, but it just, I think, was what was decided, and that was okay. But my daughter has my surname, and I think I was at that time I was very much, yes, this is must have the man's surname. I don't even think I would have liked the idea of a double barrel then. But now I look at it very differently. I don't think I would care about it as much at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just down to my ego at them different times.
Yeah, and how you've grown. Because I had my dad's surname, and then when I was 2, my mum was like, "Nah, blood, you're not doing enough."
Yeah, I know a lot of people that's happened to.
My mum just changed it. My mum changed it. So there's that as well. I mean, I don't even know if he would mind so much if she changed it to hers. I think his big gripe as well, it's another man's surname.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's another level.
I think a lot of ego is in there. But co-parenting and parents that are not together anymore, it's so complicated, and there's always a wider dialogue that you just don't know, or circumstances around why
we don't know.
Yeah, each one behaves the way that they do. But I know for a fact, as a woman, she was so glad to tell him she was getting married. She was just like, she was happy to tell him, boy, I know for a fact.
She was like,
yeah, she was like,
getting married is not a joke. You know what I'm saying? She's like, that's very serious.
Yeah, it's very serious. It's very serious. And, he stepped up and he's taking care of your daughter and he's wonderful. And I'm getting married to him. And
I think there's a lot in there, though, where she might want him to turn around and say, all right, I haven't done enough and I want to do more.
Yeah.
Because I think she wants him to do more. I don't know if that would change the situation, or maybe she's too angry now and if this is the point they're at. But yeah, I think, he could turn around, try and do mediation, or like just really, he could take a positive step in this and say, I'm going to do more and I'm not okay with this. There is one, I thought of another devil's advocate in there as well. Maybe it was mentioned slightly. You said about the damage of the relationship maybe with the child after that. So it's kind of like for the child symbolically as well. I'm going to change. They know they're changing their name from their dad's name. Is that mentally pushing away that relationship further, which is not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? We might be able to sit and say, actually, the mum could sit there and think, actually, that might further damage your relationship with your dad so much that I don't think that's a good idea. Or they may think, actually, that's better for you because you're going to be in a new loving situation where you don't have to worry so much about not seeing someone who's not turning up.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to look at what the what they said?
The comments. This one I love this. I do this on my show.
Read it out, yeah.
Okay.
Can I leave you guys to read it out?
Yeah.
All right. You going? Am I going?
I'll let you go. Just whilst I'm trying to enlarge my screen.
All right, so I'm going to read this first long one, right? So we've got Vanessa Price. This is upsetting for the father. These two parents obviously have their issues and they remain unresolved. Everyone seems to have gone on with life, but they don't co-parent. In this instance, I think the mother is wrong. She's wrong in her stance. I do hugely understand from what she's said why she feels that way, but she contradicted herself by saying it's only a name. If it's only a name, what is the need to change it? Fair point. There are many ways that the child can be more involved with the union. Mom can give the child roles within the wedding. She can ask her child's opinion on things about the wedding. Child could be asked to prepare a speech or performance, in my opinion. And that's where the comment ends because it says see more. But
oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Richie G comment underneath, just going back to that point. Why ain't she telling her child it's only a name?
Yeah.
And then we go on. Shall I continue?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So then, okay, then she's replied, we don't know what she's saying. in these posts, we are always left with so many questions. We are really just assuming. I hope the child knows and feels loved and cared for. Not knowing the father's reasons must play on her mind. Changing her name is useless and irrelevant. The child can be made more comfortable and confident with the union in many other ways. What do you guys think?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, including her in the wedding and having the same surname as the family that you live with is two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What did these dots say? Let's have a look.
Ruth said,
Yeah.
I actually don't care about right or wrong, as it's not my reality, thank God. It's just all toxic behavior, man. You know the voice of the child is getting lost in the foolishness. Yuck. And Gregory Cool Ruler said, if it's the case the father's name is not on the birth certificate and he's not involved in the child's life because he's awaiting DNA results, once the results come in, and if he is the father, he will need to apply for a C100 application for parental responsibility. The mother can put whatever name she wishes on the birth certificate, whilst the biological father will be able to put his name on the birth certificate. As a father, I wouldn't be fighting over no slave name. Instead, invest the time with your child. The mother can change the child's surname to double barrel with her new partner. It won't hold any real significance because he won't be the child's legal guardian. It's equivalent to holding a logbook for a car you don't own. And then Amma Bruce said, someone gets it. Thanks for this.
I actually read that comment now. I remember when I saw the post after you sent it. But yeah, that's interesting.
That is interesting. I thought that was quite an interesting perspective. Sorry, I've put Vanessa's comment there twice, so we'll ignore that.
Yeah. So we covered that.
All right. So next topic is,
why does it bother you when a black man is with a white woman? Men, does it bother you when a black woman is with a white man? So what we do, I'll just explain this usually, is we always go with the most comments within the 2 weeks. So we go with the post with the most comments. This had the most comments, but I was on the fence and I was like, should I do this comment? And then I thought, why not? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's still good to get, I know you're not a prude. I know you're not afraid to say whatever you, you're not a prude. You're not whatever you think. And I think it's good. There's a lot of, we're talking about two different races here and coming together, but there's a lot of opinions from just one of the races, obviously, in the group. So it's good to get loads of different perspectives. So I thought about it from that angle as well. It's good to get that perspective. But this caused absolutely hell and brimstone in the group. It had 170 comments.
Yeah.
What was the like? I'm sure we're gonna get to some comments or whatever. But was there is it a defensive thing? Like people are being defensive because they feel like they're being called out, or? I
think so. You've got some people that says no, they want to kind of keep the black bloodline going, or they want to build like the black family, that kind of thing. Yeah. You have people going. You got a few people that are like, well, I'm mixed race. Do you know what I'm saying? So what does that mean for me? And then you've got a few people who are also black that are kind of challenging. I say challenging, but really coming for, the ones that are saying to keep the kind of they want to keep the race kind of.
So what is the question again? It's asking women, do you have an issue with this? And then asking men, do you have an issue?
You have an issue when you see black men with white women, and black. Do you have an issue when you see black women with white men?
Yeah. So is it being asked of black men and women specifically, or
Yeah. So they're asking. So what happened in the group? There was like loads of back and forth. It was literally split in the middle. There was quite a few people on the fence. I think me and Trisha was like, everyone has a preference. Like, just do you. My issue, for instance, is black men will date outside of the race, which is fine, but they will absolutely dog out a black woman. And I think, date who you want to date, but you don't have to then berate black women but they have to justify sometimes. I'm not saying this is all people in interracial relationships, but I sometimes think that when certain people in interrelationship, it's like they need to justify why they're in that. So by doing that, they have to kind of dog out either. Oh well, I mainly see it, if I'm honest, in black.
So you're saying they still cuss out black women, for example, because
I can't date black women.
It's like they're giving their reasons. It's your fault. Yeah, it's like your fault that I'm dating white women or whatever.
Yeah, I see that a lot. But I think just date who you want to date. If you're gonna date who you want to date who you want to date. But dog us out in the
100%. Like for me, right?
Yeah,
I'm a white man. I've mostly dated black women and mixed race women in my life. I've rarely dated white women. I think that's just my preference, you want to call it, or like I've been in hip hop culture my whole life, so it's kind of like been my culture in a different kind of sense. Yeah. So I never really, I don't feel like I experienced any of that kind of stuff. Like I never felt I had to explain myself. So I don't feel like I went through that, which is interesting in itself. Maybe I don't know where that sits into the dynamic of all of this. But that being something that's so part of my life, like for example, my daughter is mixed race. In my later years, I completely understand. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to this question from a lot of those things you listed, because I completely understand black men or women saying that they only want to date within their race and hold on to that culture and purity and all of those things, because we've lived through hundreds and years of racism. So I get there's nothing wrong with that. And then it is an interesting one. If I hear a white person saying that I'm only dating white people because I want to keep my bloodline strong, I'm more gonna be triggered by that and go, oh gosh, them are like Nazis or whatever. But I don't think it's the same both ways. I don't think it's the same both ways, because there's a completely different agenda and purpose going on here, right?
Yeah. Right.
So just for me, though, in that circumstance, what I have learned, and this is what I would teach my child, anything, is like, I think if I'm a white person dating a black woman, I must be like educated on her culture, on racism and her experience, and be listening to her and learn from her on that experience, and be there and ready to support it and be part of it and be involved in anti-racism. Because I think there's a lot of white people who date because they have a fetish or whatever, who don't do that. They're actually still racist, and that's where the big problem comes into it for me. It's like you end up having people, and it's both men and women do this, right? You have someone who's literally, you have men who's dating black women, mixed race women, and they actually, it's a fetish in their head, but they actually don't respect them that much or their culture, right? And it will come out. Like, I speak to women who tell me these kind of stories like more and more often. It's shocking, but it's not. And then you know, you've got white women who have had mixed children and now they've separated from the parent, and now they're actually a bit racist and they're being racist to their kids. So it's a sticky conversation that, like I said, I don't think there's one answer to.
Yeah. Have you, if you don't mind us asking, and anything you don't want to answer, just feel free to say.
Cool.
Say no comment. When dating black women, what has been your reaction from, like, even on when you go out and stuff like that? Because I think when black women date outside the race, they really do hear it in the ear, like it's absolute trees sometimes. And
I mean, I would get comments. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just think sometimes, like, you know, the black men really have a lot to say, but I just want to know if you've experienced anything, not even from your culture so much, but from ours, being with a
I'm doing this, man.
Being with black
women.
I'm
not trying to give me a fashion show in the middle of the live. Sorry. I can't. Go on.
So you got the background hidden.
Yeah, because she's just there showing the fit, and I'm like, we had like all day for this. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, cool. No, I don't. I mean, I don't really feel like I got that backlash. Like I might get a comment, I might be out in the club with my woman and that, and someone might have a comment to say, like, but I think those things can happen anyway. Like I might have, someone's trying to chat to my woman and that, and feeling like he can violate in some kind of way. I've got in a couple fights here and there over that, but I don't think it was specific. That one openly like racial. I remember just being in the street sometimes, a group of guys kind of walking past and like shaking their head at her kind of thing and stuff like that. But it's very rare.
Yeah.
I didn't have that a lot. I would say much more. I would get comments. Again, it's not so much comments, but from white people. I don't know if it's so much in this situation as well, but I just think most of the racism I've witnessed in my life has been towards me or like involving me has been from white people and like my kind of involvement in black culture.
Okay.
So that's not really been my experience if I'm real, yeah.
Okay.
That's yeah, that is interesting. What kind of comments would you get from white people in terms of being involved with our culture?
Yeah, like I said, I had to kind of stop myself there because I realized I'm thinking of things that are a bit separate. I don't think I was usually like hearing stuff about women like dating and all that. Maybe when I was really young, right? So I was in a relationship, like I used to hear a lot, like a lot of white guys will be kind of like, yeah, I won't date black women, but oh yeah, she's mixed race, that's all right. We used to hear things like that from white guys when I was really young. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe my experience is rare. I don't know, because like I dated someone for a long time who we're from the same area. We know a lot of all the same people. No one can't really chat to us too much, kind of thing. So it's like they might have said it, but they're not saying it to me. Actually, no. Do you know what? Tell a lie. I just thought of it. There was a group of guys who was saying stuff to her at one point, and I had problems with, but I had problems with them anyway. It was separate, and in the mix of that, they did make some comments when I think about it, but I just didn't care. I just really didn't care, and I didn't. I had my own issues with them on a separate level, and I just thought that my issues with them were so much bigger, like separate to that. It was just like whatever. Yeah.
All right.
I've got sorry. Go on, Tish. No, I was going to say, Kev B has said that sex is sex, black or white, but relationship is a different ball game.
Yeah, I've just asked him to elaborate.
Oh, did you?
I hear that though. I kind of agree with that. Like what I was saying before, I don't know what they mean. It'd be interesting to hear if they elaborate. But going back to what I said about the importance of understanding each other's culture and stuff like that, especially white people understanding the experiences of racism. If you're in a relationship, you really have to know about that. You know what I'm saying? If you're just having sex one time, maybe you don't. But then someone else commented that fetishism is racism, basically, which I agree with. Yeah, I agree. Like I 100% agree with that, and I think I have to check myself on this. You know, it's something I have to think about in myself, because I'm like, I'm mostly attracted to black women, mixed race women. Like this is like somewhere along the line to sit and go, is there fetishization in this that I've built up and got from somewhere, right? And what can I do about that if there is? So that's why it's very important. That's why this culture stuff I talk about is very important. So it's going to be like, okay, so I have to do this in the right way if this is what I'm doing.
Right. What is it that attracts you to black women? Can you pinpoint that?
I don't really want to. It's not like I'm going to describe anything. Like I said, I think it's just I've had such an involvement in black culture from so young, right? It's just who I've been around and the kind of media and stuff that I've kind of absorbed. And it's not that I'm not attracted to white women. Don't get me wrong. I still like might date white women here and there and stuff, but I've never had that much serious relationships with them. It's just not happened. I thought about this in recent years. I don't know if there's a weird spanner in the mix, but I think the type of white women that I'm kind of into tend to like black guys because they're like they're like white women who are also like into the same kind of culture as me and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
You
I've
just
got white
naturally-
women that are my yeah. So like
Yeah.
they're like just so those white. I've got white women like that are my friends. You know what I'm saying? That I'm like, cool. I find you attractive. Like we could probably click, but like you're more into black guys. I'm more into black women, and that's just what it is.
Mhm.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. I hear that. I think, like you said, I think people are allowed. So I think everyone's allowed to have a preference, because at the end of the day, if you're allowed to say you like blondes or you like brunettes, I think it's only fair to say that a bigger quality, which would be a color, you're gonna have a preference. You're just gonna have a preference. It's just is what it is. And I think a lot of that does, you know, go around what you grow up around. I think if you, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Back in the day, if I heard a white person say I only date white women, you would automatically, like you said, would think you fucking skinhead. Do you know what I'm saying? You skinhead. But as time's gone on, I'm thinking, no, there's a lot of different races that literally only date within their race, and it may genuinely be a preference. I do believe there are some that are probably very racist, don't get me wrong, but I've also been able to come to the understanding that, you know, there are some people that just have a preference, like that is their preference, that is what they want to do. And I don't think anyone should be kind of, there was a lot of shaming in the group for some people feeling like, you know, they'd rather keep it in the thing. We were watching it and I was like, I think people should be shamed for it, because when other races do it, no one's got nothing to say.
No, that's the best point. Do you know, I was just going to come to that, but I didn't want to interrupt you. When you think about it, all these other cultures and races and like nations, or even just the country you're from, you kind of, or religion, it's very normal for people to only date within that race or culture. When you think about it, it's only kind of white people, black people, for lack of a better kind of grouping, where this is being questioned really at all. And I don't know, that's an interesting question. Do you think there's a reason why that is?
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, that you could understand why black people would want to date just black people because of the racism element around it. And when you said that, my immediate thing was, well, then how comes some people within our own race don't get it? I don't know if white people, because I'm not white, so I wouldn't know, but I would say white people more date white people. Do you think that they have the same sort of right? Whereas I think
Peterborough, if you're in Peterborough, boy.
Okay, what happens in Peterborough?
Most couples are interracial, and it's lots of white men with black women.
Really?
So that's more common nowadays. Is that the case?
Yeah. When I go there, every time I go there, I see, and I'm around, we've got family and friends up there. So every time we go for long visits, and we'll stay for the weekend and we'll go out, no matter where we go, there's a lot of interracial couples.
Where is this?
Peterborough.
Where is this? Oh, in Peterborough. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I went over the years, and I've seen a lot of that. But I feel like black people more, I could be wrong because I'm not in other race. We're not really in other cultures. You can only really go from your own. But it seems like black people more will date outside their race. So when I find that when I hear a white guy that goes, I date black women, I'm always shocked.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I feel like it's mainly white women that are kind of fantasized over in the media, that are kind of put on the pedestal. And there's a certain look that everyone's supposed to aspire to, and that men kind of look odd or kind of drool over. And you do know a lot of black men go for white women, but you just don't see it a lot. So I'm always like, really? When I hear or I see, you always kind of look twice. And I've seen couples and it's a white guy and a black girl, and I'll look like rah, and I'm not even looking like that. It's just because I don't see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm even at them like giving them the judgmental look. I'll just bust them a little smile, but it's because you don't usually see that. And I never used to think white men found black women attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never grew up thinking, especially I grew up in Canning Town, East London.
Okay.
But when I was young, it was very white Cockney. There was a lot, it was mainly white. So, like, you wouldn't even dream of a white guy looking at you.
Right.
I've got two thoughts of problematic things I've just thought of, right? Two different thoughts. I'm like, okay, when you've got a situation where black men or women are dating outside of their race, do we have to think about, is there racism involved in why they're choosing that as well? And like self-hate and stuff like that that's been programmed over societally. And if that's the case, is that something that's problematic then, and something that needs to be worked on somehow? I don't know what the answer to that is. And then I just remembered reading something else as well about white men it's about white women. I think it could apply to both in different ways. White women who will only date black guys, and then the idea of privilege, right? In that,
I read
women
that as
in
well.
a relationship, like women in a relationship generally on a gender basis don't have the main privilege, right? So white women will date black men because they'll think, well, cool, you've got this male privilege over me, but I'm still white, so I've got this privilege over you. And it kind of, that's a bit, and whether they maybe without even knowing it, and that's very interesting to think about, and you know, probably not a good dynamic.
Yeah. I think there's been, what I've seen, especially over the last few years, is especially like grabs from TikTok and TikTok videos that I've posted of white women talking about having mixed race children like a trophy. There's that. That I can't bear. I can't stand that. I've got a lot of mixed race family and friends, and I've never seen their parents behave like that, like the white side of their family behave like that. I can't stand that. Oh, my curly hair, and just treating it. I've got a mixed race baby, or mixed race baby. It's like a trophy, like a I don't know. I don't like it. That's a fetish almost. That's a different type.
Related to that,
Yeah. So it's things like that where I think that's weird, and it's the different reasons I've heard black men date white women. They don't want to see no weave. These times white women wear weave like pro, bro. Yeah, I'm proud. White women don't even try and hide it. Like, black girls will try and hide a weave. Don't get twisted. Black girls will be like, gotta take my rose out, my tracks out. Like, they don't business. Like, they actively wear weave. So that's stupid. Black women have an attitude. No, I think what they'll find is all women have an attitude, especially when you piss them off. So let's not go there. And that black women are bitter. What's the other ones? They're not attractive. I've heard black men say, there was one black guy, this was posted about 2016. I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it because I posted it on my page once and rinsed him, and I had to unfollow him. But he said, why would you date a black woman? Basically, he was saying, why would you go out with a black girl when you can get these like white girls? Like, think about black girls and white girls, there's no comparison. This is from a black
and that's what
guy.
I mean. That's racism that he's carrying, isn't it? So that's what I'm talking about. The reason he's doing it is literally just from racism.
He's fetishing, like, I feel like he's fantasizing and fetishing, and he's got like this superiority complex. It's like, your mum's black, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Your mum's black,
them ones are
and
crazy.
you're putting someone else like above you. It's just weird. So those are the things I don't agree with. I do think though that if people just let people do what they do, just let people do what they do, and also let people have their preference.
Yeah, she's frozen.
She's frozen. It's been going good all this time.
Yeah, we was having a good run. All right, let's go to the comments and see what some of our members say. Oh, she's back now.
Oh, she's back.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. You froze for a bit. So we're just going on to Patrice. Patrice said, "This is our kind of discussion. I'll be back," but she didn't come back. I was looking out for her comments.
No, because she probably came back and the comment section was on fire.
Yeah, let me allow it.
Like later. Yeah, I can't even do it.
Said Mike said, no, it does not bother me at all. We're all human, are we not? Just different tribes and traditions. Yeah. Angela Mensah said, having lived in this world as long as I have, and given what I've seen so far of certain people, I beg to differ. Mike said, that's your experience, not mine. DeWitt Ford said, or maybe, now stay with me here, just maybe it's people like you who are the problem, basing your opinion of people based on the color of their skin. How very ethical and completely non-hypocritical of you. Sarcastic, isn't it? Or do you really think the great mastermind behind the white man is the white man's version of Dr. What's that? Facilitator.
I don't know what that is.
You see that whole paragraph? I felt like that whole paragraph, this second paragraph here in the middle, it's like you started talking about something else.
Yeah.
Or I'm just not clued, or I'm not woken up, but I don't know what he's talking about.
In any case, I wish you good luck and long life. You find the love in your heart one day. If not, I hope God allows you to live long enough to walk in your daughter or granddaughter with a bright pink scrotum on her chin, and your future mixed race grandkids splashing over her glasses. No idea.
Wow.
But he was. Oh, I get it. He's replying to Angela.
Yeah.
So that's like people went in, and what I like about this group is that they speak their mind, but it did start to get a little bit insultive. I did have to step in a couple of times to say,
is that a white guy?
No,
it's a black guy. It's a black guy saying it to a black woman, saying that she's the problem.
Yeah.
And in any case, I wish you good luck and a long life. You'll find love in your heart one day. So because she has said, actually, I beg to differ. I do think that we're not all the same. She's gone on to be abused, and a wish for her granddaughter with a bright pink scrotum on her chin. What? Just unnecessary.
That's why I thought it was a white guy, but this is just weird. That's really weird. He had a lot of energy, man.
In fact, I think black people were more offended with black people for saying, actually, it was black people that were more offended at people saying that. Nope, doesn't bother me. I imagine it has nothing to do with me. I assume that she, like everyone else, either met her at work, school, or through a friend. Whilst on that for partnership journey, she met a non-black person she's dating, and he exhibited the characteristics she wanted. I figure we all have or are with what we deserve across colours. Leslie Small said, as a man, no, it don't bother me, but I would like to see more of our children with the same colour. Nubia said, black men should be able to stand 10 toes down and make their choice without referring to black women. Men, you just can't. Men, you can go with your status symbol all you want. Just take our names out your mouth. Also, when she calls you the N-word or calls the police on you, takes you for half and makes access to your children hard, continue to leave our names out of your mouth.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Nubia often does come in with a grenade and then just leaves the place all bloody and messy. Chelsea said, I only dislike the black men who date white women and have a whole lot of shit to say about black women, especially their looks. Mick Elizabeth Good said, I personally don't care if black men are with white women. Maybe it's because I've mostly dated white men. I always felt like there were other options. I know some black women only see black men as an option, and maybe that upsets them, but I'm unfazed. Someone else read these
comments. We've got more. All right.
Yeah,
so,
we've got more.
Gloria has said, doesn't bother me. Each to his, her choosing. Me, I love my chocolate. I will say this. I've heard one of our say he'd never go with a black woman when asked why he's responsible. When asked why his response was, we are too argumentative. My reply was, your mother was a black woman. He put up with his father, who put up with his father's crap, then walked out, leaving her to raise him and his siblings, and so had to be strong to raise him to become the man he is today. And he disrespects her by disparaging black women and not being good enough, as not being good enough. That's some shots, yeah, some more shots fired. So we've got Claudia Bryan. It doesn't bother me at all. What does bother me is people who judge others for doing it, or the person's reasons for dating outside of their race. And then we've got Mike Shaw. I find this name familiar for some reason. Let's stir the pot a little. All right, here we go. I'll just leave this here. Racists justify their beliefs through flawed arguments like biological determinism, cultural differences, fear, and ignorance. However, these excuses lack evidence and are unfounded. Racism is a harmful belief system that perpetuates discrimination and inequality. It's crucial to challenge and reject racist ideologies to foster diversity, equality, and inclusivity. And then we have a comment from Angela replying saying, say it again to the right racist folks. And then we are the victims, not the ones who need educating about those things. I already wanted to stop as I was reading that and say, who's he talking to? When he says, when he's basically calling people racist, right?
Yeah.
He's basically saying, white or black, we justify our beliefs through flawed arguments like keeping the race pure, so biological determination, cultural differences, because some people would say, well, actually, I wouldn't date a white person because if I go out and I experience racism today, are they going to be able to empathize with me? So, or there's going to be certain cultural differences in the way in which we were grown up. So I would prefer to stick with my race because they might not necessarily understand my culture, my beliefs, my food, all of the rest of it. So what he's saying is these are excuses and they lack evidence.
He's calling them racist, basically. He's saying that those black people that feel like that are racist.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Because I feel like the response has felt like he's talking about black people in a way, because it's like, well, say that to the white racist people because, you know. All right, well, there's another one. So Dion, someone said that black women date, marry out for love. While I don't disagree, I would say that some just prefer white men, just like their male counterparts who date, marry outside. Listening to various discussions on this, some black women appear to have been encouraged to do so by their mothers who've told them that black men ain't shit, or they've been abused by some black men and therefore choose otherwise. Also, we're not mentioning that socialization environment can influence people who people couple with. I think there are too many factors involved to believe that black women only date outside purely for love. Ultimately, though, I think we as a whole have got a lot to move past the mindset that having a white partner is the better option. Go with who you gel with based on the person. And then Jeffrey Mensah said, never bothers me, each to their own, your life, your love.
So I've got a question. Yeah, I'm just being devil's advocate quickly. Well, I don't know if devil's advocate, I don't know if you could call it that, but you've dated black women, you've dated white women. And the common argument,
Me.
and there's no right or wrong answer, is literally, and that's what I always say to people, it's based on your experience.
Yeah.
Would you say the common argument is black women are too combative, they're too argumentative, and they're just too much hard work? Has that been your experience? If it has, we're not setting you up here, by the way.
No. Listen, yeah. Look, I think everybody I have dated, I've only really had serious relationships. I don't really think I've had a long-term relationship with a white woman. Not really. But my mum is a white woman, and she is a strong, difficult woman. Yeah, who's like strong and independent and opinionated. And you know, I grew up mostly in her household, so I grew up with that as my like woman role model. So to me, I've never even looked at race in it. I've always been with like kind of women that fit into that description, and I've always looked at, well, I go for them kind of women because my mum's like that. So you've just made me think about it racially for the first time ever. So I'd never really.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's interesting.
Yeah, interesting, because that is the common argument. That is what I hear it as a black woman a lot, not necessarily about me, but I just hear black men say black women are too difficult. Black women are too much hard work. They're too combative. They're too this. They're too angry. They're too, and I just think, surely, you know what I mean? Like, surely not. So it's just like, okay, let me ask someone else that takes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that.
No, I mean, I think it's a racist stereotype. I think people are all angry. Everybody's angry in this world. You know, we all probably should go to therapy and deal with anger and trauma of our own, because everyone's is different. But yeah, I think that's, you know, that's a problematic narrative that needs addressing, I guess. But it's definitely sticky when it's coming. If you're saying it's coming from a lot of black men like that, then yeah, that's difficult.
What do you think, Trish? Closing on this one.
I think that like I was saying, like there was, like you said, there was like a lot of mixed race people in the comments that were like, well, this is interesting to see how we as mixed race people are viewed. And I think it's a very complex topic with many layers, because I can understand why some mixed race people were feeling a little bit attacked in that, when there were some people that were basically saying, no, we do not think that it's it's not unacceptable for black people to stick with dating black people, to keep, like someone said, keep the wealth in the house. And I understood exactly what she meant, whereas a black man was like, what the hell are you talking about, keep the wealth in the house? So I went on to explain that I've got 10 nieces and nephews, and all of them, apart from one, are mixed race, and I couldn't imagine life without them. Yeah. So they are who they are because of their DNA makeup, and I love them all the same, and I couldn't imagine life without my mixed race nieces and nephews. It just is what it is. However, when black women are saying, well, I don't see why black men can't date us and keep the wealth in the household, in terms of where we are economically in comparison to other races, we are not on the same footing. Is it safe to say that? Yeah. I would also say that if like I speak to many people like in my journey of life, and I remembered having a really in-depth conversation with an Indian colleague of mine, and she said to me, if I was to bring a white person home, my parents would be disgruntled. If I was to bring a black person home, it would be out of the question. It just simply wouldn't go down well. I'd be disowned and all of the rest of it. She also went on to explain like how they view things in their house. Like they might be all living in the same house, a large family in a house that might be too small for them, but they all work, they all put money into the pot, and the eldest will buy the eldest a house, and then it will move down the succession line where they all just build each other. So when the black woman said, I don't see why we can't keep our wealth in the household, I understood exactly what she was saying. However, it was our own black male counterparts that took offense to that.
So
I think it's something that I wouldn't be able to sum up in a little sentence here, but I think to each their own. I think everyone's got a right to date whoever they want to date. I've only ever dated black men, but of late have started to say that I need to open up my horizons, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I do feel like I need to open up my horizons. However, I have a deep love for my race. I do feel like black on black love shouldn't be so offensive when mentioned. I don't understand why people get so horrified and so offended when we say, actually, as a race, we need to heal. So black women need to love black men, and black men need to love on black women. People seem to get really offended by that. And I think we're the only race where that seems to happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you guys said earlier, if an Orthodox Jew said, I'm only going to date an Orthodox Jewish woman, that would be the expected norm. So why is it so outrageous for it to be a suggestion for the black community? That's my first thing. And I think my second thing is, and it's going back to what you said, is when we do decide to date outside of our race and we give negative justifications to our own counterpart. So black men ain't shit. I only date white men because black men ain't shit, and vice versa. I think that that's kind of like a cowardice way to justify you feeling guilty for dating outside of your race. So then you say negative things about your race in order to justify it. And I don't agree with that. So to sum it up, if you can sum it up, to each their own. My preference is black males. I definitely will open up my horizons and not shut myself off to love in whatever format it comes in. But I'm not, I don't get offended when I hear black people saying that we need to build together. I don't understand why it causes offense. And I think that's like a lot to do with social conditioning. So I think it's very deep. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Really makes sense. Really makes sense. I was just listening there. I think you broke it down all there perfectly.
Right.
And for me, I think, and this is an issue I think is important for me to listen to black women explain, because again, it's like something you've experienced and understand from your perspective. I think you've really hit a nail on the head with the fact that only that dynamic is the one that creates offense. And that's white supremacy and racism, and that's just what it is.
If an Indian person came along and said, I'm going to marry a fellow Indian, it would be the expected norm. So why it goes all the comments, like Natalie said, it was too much to capture for this show. But the offense that was taken to people saying that their preference is for black and black love, oh my God, the offense was just like, whoa. So to me, there's like a deeper sort of reasoning behind that.
Yeah. I just remembered one thing that happened years ago. Go on, say it, Natalie. No,
go for it.
Well, it's you know the rapper Common Sense, right? He had a song years ago. And I've just realized how my own perspective of this has changed in years, because I was probably in an interracial relationship at the time back then. And he came to London once and he did this interview and he said something about seeing black men walking with white women in Brixton and how it offended him, right? And then he brought an album out and he had a lyric where
Oh, you're cutting out.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to start that all over again. So he brought out an album.
Where was that?
He brought out an album and the lyrics said,
So the lyrics said, I see black men walking with white girls on their arm. I'll be mad at them as if I know their mom. I don't know if you heard it that time. And then it created a lot of backlash, and there was 3 mixed race rappers from the UK who basically made a diss song to him about it, because they were like, you're insulting my whole existence, right? And they were people I knew personally, and I was kind of, yeah, you're right, this is wrong, because I mean, you know, I was with a mixed race woman at the time. So I think I felt the same as them at that time, right? And the 3 rappers were Doc Brown, who's now a huge actor and is in Star Wars and all sorts. Doc Brown and a guy called Young Gun and a guy called Rising Sun. And years later, I remember going back to that song and thinking about it and thinking how different I felt. And I went on the clip, and Rising Sun had left a long message on it saying, actually, I was completely wrong when I wrote this. And he said all of the things we're just saying now, because he was like, actually, no, I get exactly what Common was saying. And he's, he had the real point.
Yeah,
man.
It just seems to be, whenever you mention black on black love, it just seems to be seen as so offensive. And I do get why, like, mixed race people might say, it's wiping out the whole of my existence, or, you know, I'm being seen in a negative way. And like, I personally wanted to say, well, no, actually, I agree with black on black love, but mixed race, it doesn't mean that I don't respect or like mixed race people either. Like I said, my nieces and nephews are, bar one, are all mixed race, and one of my nieces in particular is one of the nicest people you'd ever like to meet. She's beautiful inside and out, and I love when she comes over from Germany, and she's just so gorgeous. And would I have her any other way? No, but I wouldn't. Also, I'm not opposed to black on black love. I don't see why that is deemed offensive. And I really like someone like some of the people who were opposing to it in such a negative, harsh way to explain why it's so out of this world for the concept of black on black love, keeping wealth in the house and building like other races do. Why that's so offensive? Why is that we are expected to open our arms to every single race out there, but nobody don't really openly have to embrace us? Do you understand what I mean? So yeah, that's my opinion on it. All right, should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah. And thank you for being so open with us about it.
That's all right.
I didn't realize how sensitive the topic was until it went in the group, and it was like, actually, this is more sensitive than I would have thought it would have been. So I wasn't sure how it went down in the group. I wasn't sure, but I thought, no, we could. And I do think I would love to do another one. I think we need a whole show on it, and you know, just do, you know, different people's perspective, why they think the way that they think, why they feel the way that they feel. There's so many different, especially during the time of George Floyd, there was so much heated emotion. People that they've been childhood friends with fell out because they found out they were racist. There were so many different things that happened around that time. How do you navigate? Do you know what I'm saying? I would love to find out how it was for certain people within that situation that were in kind of into, like, there was so many different dynamics, and I think there's dynamics on both sides as well, which we can sometimes obviously forget.
Yeah, definitely. Can I ask you a personal question, Nova, before we move on?
Why not?
He's like, go on.
Yes, go on. As you've only dated, well, not only, but the majority of the women that you've dated have been black or mixed race. How has your mum taken that? How does your family receive that?
Yeah, my mum's had no issue with that. Not from my mum. My dad's side of the family, I don't know. I wasn't like as tight. I do remember my dad making a comment like, "Oh, like she's a black girl," or "Oh, you like black girls, right? Okay." And he just said it. This was when I was really young. This was like an early girlfriend, and I was like, so he did, and I was like, yeah, and he was like, okay, and that was it. Like never again. And like he's really like he's good with like my daughter's mom. They talk and stuff like that. Like he even sends her a birthday present and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like so. They're cool, like yeah. And my mom just didn't raise me with any kind of separation or divide in that kind of way. You know, my best friend in my life when I was really young. I mean, and this is probably where a lot of my kind of culture came from. Is my friend Big Ben, who I do my podcast with. If you ever see my podcast, it's me and my friend. We know each other from 1 year old, and. His mum and my mum were like best friends. That's how we knew each other from there, innit? So I just grew up around people of different races, so it just wasn't a thing to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that's rare. I think that's quite rare in a certain sense, maybe in a certain age group as well.
And your mum, you said, is British, and your dad was British, but there's some Scottish along the way.
Yeah, no, she found my mum's into ancestry, so she found Scottish way back. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're all English as far as I know, you know. And my mum, like my younger brother, has got cerebral palsy, right? So my mum's very much been into like disability rights. I talk about a lot about this equal rights stuff. So I was young, like fighting disability rights, going out protesting and doing all of that kind of stuff. So it all came together with all of that, you know. And then my friend's mum, I can't remember what age I was where they made us watch Malcolm X when I went to his house. Like, and I was just getting educated on this kind of stuff from so young. It's just been part of my kind of life. So yeah, there's never been a pushback from anyone. No, not in my family that they told me. Yeah, I don't know if any grandparents had anything to say that they didn't tell me. I don't know.
Yeah. So who's saying that I always go for the juggler? Do you think that was a harsh question?
No, that wasn't a harsh question, but you know what? It could be to the wrong person, you know, but maybe I'm sure you sensed that it probably wouldn't be to me.
It wouldn't be,
I don't know. Yeah.
It's just interesting to see like that, you know, let me be honest, it's no bravado. In my kind of mind, that, you know, as open. All right, so I'll give you a little bit of a scenario. There was somebody I was really close with, got on really well with, and we were good friends to a point. We were good friends. But then we had a disagreement, white male, black female, and the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, you're just having a black girl tantrum." So that shocked me. And that
was a white man. That was a white male that said it to you.
White man said to me, "I'm having a black girl tantrum," and this is somebody who's seen
girlfriend.
He's got a black girlfriend,
and he has a black girlfriend. Exactly. These are
a black girlfriend. Absolutely, he's got a black girlfriend, and he seemed to understand the struggles that we faced, and
he still said that. How often did he say that to her?
I don't know. I don't know. But what I will say is, it bothered me, and it put me to think that sometimes it can be like we're accepted by white people, but then when you are pissed off with us, then these comments come to the surface. So the reason I asked this question is, actually, it might not even be the case. There's some people that are just okay and are cool with black people. But then if we think about him as a person, he said to me that his mum was open, but his dad could be a little bit, you know, have some dodgy sort of. So did that kind of come from, that kind of reinforcement come from dad? So I think the reason I'm asking is because if both parents on your side are cool and you've never had no pushback, that's probably why it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's why I'm not like. That's why I don't have that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's probably true. I never witnessed no racism from my parents or things like that growing up.
Right. Whereas if you have witnessed some and it's been a reinforcing factor in the background, as liberal as you think you are, it just goes to show what your subconscious will store, because it's just been part of your operating system, if that makes sense.
And this is why I said when I started, fully makes sense. But this is why when I started this, I said I would even educate my daughter on this. That as much as I'm a white man who dates black women, I will advise anybody who's not white, who's not white, dating white men, white women, like to be vigilant of that. You've got to make sure that that's not what they're dealing with, because it is actually that's crazy to me. You know, that a person is going to make those comments to you, and he's there dating a black woman. That's wild to me.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So it's a very complex situation. Anyway, is this our third and final topic now?
Our third and final topic, and I thought I'd finish on the foolishness. Stupid. Fake stupidness. And again, I'm very much so let people do what they want to do, but I can't take the foolishness with this. It's stupid. So this woman said, my marriage is boring because my husband doesn't cheat. I can't see it properly. I don't know if anyone else can to read it. Sorry. On my phone.
I can't see it that well.
Basically, I think what she was saying is
I'd have to try and find the post online.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it as well. But she was basically saying her marriage is boring because her man don't cheat. He's too nice, basically, and he doesn't.
Okay,
cheat.
but if she's saying he's too nice, is there more layers to this than just the punchline of doesn't cheat? So she's saying he's too nice. He's not doing anything exciting.
I'm getting it up right now because this is that's trying to take me to the optician. Let me get it up now. I remember reading it and thinking your argument's dead, Rudiel. Like, just sit in your marriage and shut. Because so many people would like to be in a marriage with her husband. Okay, like
no drama.
Being like, she might have been someone that literally grew up and was spoon-fed on drama. So she doesn't actually when something's okay, she thinks something's wrong. Because I don't get it. Genuinely, even after the little explanation, I didn't get it. I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
Yeah, me too.
People think like just on a broad one, I guess people get used to something toxic and they think that's what love is to them. And it's like we go back to this comfort. We have a comfort in something we think we're used to. And it's not always, and something that's actually good and new is maybe frightening to us sometimes.
Yeah.
I found it.
Did you find it?
Yeah, it says, hi, Joel. Good morning. God bless you. Not sure if I'm here for advice. Today is Sunday. My husband and I just came from church. We drove home. He removed his shoes, sat on the parlor, asked for his food, started to watch TV. He asked if I'm in the mood for sex. I said no. I just started crying. He didn't see me. But I started to crying. I have a job. My job is the only thing keeping me happy. My husband is too good. Whilst we were dating, he had a lot of ladies on his chase. He then joined the church and became a worker. And that was it. My husband doesn't have a passcode on his phone. He's always available. I just feel bored. I feel lonely. We are trying for a baby, so we have sex at least 6 times a week. But I feel bored. I don't feel like anyone wants my husband. I have to feel like someone wants him or that someone wants what I have. I don't even know what to say. Sometimes I wish I would catch him cheating. He is always home on time. He picks up the phone all the time. When we're walking, he doesn't even turn back to look at girls walk past. I would suggest we go to the club and he will say no. I don't want to cheat, but if I had an opportunity, I would. I feel like I need to see a psychologist. Please, why do I feel like this? Because you need to see a psychologist. When I read stories on your page, I feel like the ladies are lucky. I feel like the ladies I feel are lucky, but I'm bored. I even cry.
Oh, girl, bye. Out of here with that shit. Listen to me. This is a you problem. So don't project your toxic. She needs to be weaned off the toxicity. She clearly went from something super toxic to non-toxic without weaning herself off, without any healing, without anything, and she doesn't know what to do with herself. And this is what I mean. This is a you problem, but you could do something. This man is good to you because he loves you. The way she's feeling, she has the potential to then very much so hurt this man and potentially then go and damage him, when he seems like a very well-grounded, emotionally intelligent thingy man at this stage. And I just think, get out of the marriage. Get out. Seek counselling or get out the marriage, because I think you want to ruin yourself. Like, you can't bear to see yourself happy for whatever reason. You want to ruin what you've got. But in the process, you're going to ruin this man.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's
hopefully
fair.
Yeah, go on.
I think it's interesting that she said that when we were dating, he had a lot of women on his chase. And I think what's happened is she didn't realize that's what she liked about him. She didn't like him. She liked the chase. Now that there's no chase, you actually don't have anything in common with him. Clearly, you don't like him. So really, what you thought you liked, it's not. You liked the chase and the fact that he had a lot of women chasing him, and the fact that it was potentially toxic. But now that that's not an option, actually, it's like the goggles are off, and she realizes that actually this ain't for me. The person that he actually. So, for me, I would say, I don't know why anyone would want that, because when someone cheats on you, if he does go and cheat on you, watch it punch you up in your chest. You're gonna feel it. The feeling that you do not. But I feel like if that is where she is, I think she either needs to go and seek help ASAP, like she said, or go leave the man alone, please. Let someone else have him before you destroy that man. I don't feel like anyone.
She definitely watched the case.
Yeah.
So you broke up there. I didn't hear that last bit.
No, sorry, I was going to say, she said something like, I don't think anyone even wants my man, blah, 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 blah. But, Rude Girl, you said that you would
you don't seem to want him.
Yeah, and you said you would cheat if you had the opportunity, but you ain't had the opportunity, so that means no one wants you either.
Yeah.
So
oh, wow.
So stay with your man. Stupid.
It seemed like she ain't ready to be in a relationship. It seemed like she ain't ready for a relationship. Because she wants that chase. Like you say, people sometimes get all of their self-assurance from how other people like are attracted to them, want to be with them and stuff like that. So that chase where all these girls want this man, but I'm going to win, I'm going to be the winner. Then once that's like a huge hit of satisfaction. And then that's over. So now she needs to do it again. So she's not ready.
Like now her trophy's catching dust. She's bored. She don't want it.
Yeah. I mean, I read somewhere that because I read about this exact same thing, and hold on, who's this? Okay, sorry. Because sometimes people inbox me. So no, I read, and the person's offered up an explanation in terms of when someone's easily available or too readily available, it's almost like their worth goes down because people psychologically, like we've been told, you have to work hard to accomplish what you want. So people associate success with things that are hard to come by. So when someone is too easy, then it's almost as if their value drops.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it's your husband, so your husband. It's crazy.
Yeah, it certainly is. But that was the psychology that was offered up.
Yeah.
To explain that.
I can see that.
Yeah, and I think those people, though, they'll always, if they don't fix that, and they will always be chasing. They will never settle. Like they're never gonna find. You know what I mean? You're always gonna be chasing something. You'll never be happy with what you have, who you have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
but at least, yeah. Go on.
Go on, Nov.
Genuinely don't like him.
Yeah,
Now
I mean, I think she don't like herself. I think she genuinely probably don't like herself that much, because otherwise she would not be leading this gratification from being able to chase and have this trophy. But at least the one thing I'll say is, at least she, the summary of it, she's not really attacking him so much. She is blaming herself. She's saying, I obviously need to see a psychologist about this. Like, what is wrong with me? So hopefully she does realize it's a her problem herself. But yeah, whether she does it or not, because that's a hard thing.
It's weird.
Let's see what it is weird, but she's not the only one, and it seems that good guys find that type of women, like you said, that ruin them. So then when they go on to the next one, they're like, no one's going to do this to me again, and are really mean. I've heard some guys in the group say that we respond to mean treatment, treat them mean and keep them keen, and it's this type of woman that helps spread that type of narrative, if that makes sense. Because how many times have we read that? Oh, he's a simp if he's too nice, but if he's aggy, then do you understand what I mean? Like, it's said all the time, but it's these type of women that give life to that type of narrative.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give one more aspect to that, though, because I talk about this simp thing a lot, because people say it to me on the basis of supporting women, right? I was having a conversation with someone today, and I'm saying, in my experience, I don't want to generalize, but I found women in relationships I've been in, they care really about how you make them feel, right?
Yes.
This is something that's very important. So making a woman feel desired in all of those kind of ways, she's not feeling like that for some reason as well. So there may be something he's not doing in making her feel like that in some other way.
That's true. That's true. That's a thing.
Okay.
That could be a thing. But I think she should say that. And I also think that, I don't know. I just
she doesn't know it, though. It's like she's obvious. That's why she's not ready, because she's obviously not articulate enough to know it. In her mind, she's like, "Oh, this is just not good enough. I want him cheating so that I feel like I feel
back to the toxic
I'm meaningful." Yeah. Where that needs to be replaced with something new. That needs to be replaced with a level of love and treatment from her husband that makes her feel like that. But I'm not saying it's his fault, because if he may do that in all the amazing ways, and it may not work for her. So it's difficult. Definitely therapy is a good answer. Maybe together.
Maybe together. A man's just minding his business, watching his TV, and being, you know what I mean? And you want some unbridled drama. Like, get out of here, grow up. But
listen, he needs to realize what's going on. Like, he could be having a lot of fun in the world with this mentality. She needs this to be more excitement. Definitely sounds like she'd be open to bringing another woman in the bedroom. There's all sorts of things here that within consenting adults that they, But yeah, he don't seem to be seeing it for whatever it is.
She lost me at work is my only happiness.
Yeah. And she wasn't happy with him being at work either.
Yeah. And the funny thing, we have sex to have a baby. I would be like, put a plug in that right now.
Yeah,
because that ain't gonna work out. Yeah.
It go well, especially
Absolutely.
if you're she's a bit unhinged. And I feel like if you feel like that now, once those hormones get you, I don't know what you're gonna do.
Wild. Yeah. They might not get through the pregnancy. And she's going to get a work husband as well.
Yeah, just get a work husband. And just
she's going to get one at some point.
Yeah, she will.
That's where I'm happy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If she's happy at work, it's going to happen there. Someone's going to, you know what I'm saying?
If she had the opportunity to cheat, it probably will be at work, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what did our massive say?
Davina Coburn said, I read the title and that was enough for me. Jana Williams said same. Thingy Richard said sigh. Mike Shaw did like a roll eyes gif. Jana Williams said some people thrive on drama. Melinda Gardner said some women are downright idiots. When the man cheats, she'll be in tears and cussing the man out. Telling you. Jocelyn said
she wants to do that.
She
wants to feel pain.
She wants to feel pain.
Yeah.
Jocelyn Brown said she said it herself. She feels she needs to see a psychologist. That's the only sensible thing she wrote. John Smith said, so she don't want a proper man. She wants a liar and a cheat. There's no pleasing some people. Jermaine P.S. said, divorce this fool.
Yeah.
Gary, After Dark Allen, said, I think I understand what she's trying to say. Simply put, it's when she first got with him before they were married, their relationship was exciting. They were out and about enjoying life. And obviously in a lot of relationships, things change when they get married. And sometimes life can get complacent and routine-like. But because they don't know how to communicate with each other properly, they become unintentionally distant. So one might start feeling neglected and insecurity starts setting in. Why she could start feeling like that. So in my opinion, the answer to her problem is to really communicate with the husband because if you're married, sometimes you might have to say things like the other one might not like, but if you talk your truth and he talks his truth, everything will be good. Just saying. Lorraine Foster,
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying there.
Shut the front door.
Communicate. We didn't really say that, but yeah.
Yeah, communicate. And I think if you're feeling insecure now, your man cheating on you is not going to make your insecurity is going to go through the roof. It's not going to help. It's going to exacerbate it. Rodney says, ladies have here is a prime example that if he is too nice, sounds like she's ready to cheat on him with a thug. Okay. Chris Knight said, weird kink to have. Trish, you said, this is why some men think it's better to treat us like dirt because they get a better response. Shake my head. Samantha Hall said, she's crazy, pass him over here. Charlene said, as Trisha Blake said, men will think it's best to cheat. That way you get a reaction. She's got a good man but don't know how to appreciate him.
That's a deep point, you know. That men I want to excuse men cheating, but then it's like it's the same thing the other way. It's like cheating because you want that reaction from the person, trying to get some kind of response and toxic engagement.
When your makeup is of toxicity, then it's almost as if you have to create scenarios in order to make yourself feel comfortable, because that's where you feel best placed. But it's not fair to drag people into that.
No, it's out of order, man. Chanel said, then there are those who prefer chaos. Why? Who bloody knows? And you said, then some guys think we all want chaos and think it's a good idea to spread it around, and we don't. And I found there are guys that will come pretending to be very healed, but their whole behavior is chaotic. They're just chaos. And I think as someone that's, you know, I'm fucking 38 years old. I've got my children. I think when you're trying to date now, it's a myth because you can't even give people the time of day. I'll tell you why. Because there's just too many people running around unhealed. That is the biggest problem. That don't know how to be in a relationship, that don't even know how to be themselves, but are quick to want to date and to do this and to do that. And they've not done literally any work on themselves. And when I used to hear things like work on yourself, it used to just sound so corny to me, like such a cliche thing to say. But I promise you honestly cannot do nothing in a relationship. You can't get anywhere. Like, and I think a lot of people come, they've got their chaos and they just spread it. So you might be there minding your business, healed, and then someone just comes and brings their chaotic energy.
And they're looking for you to heal them. They're looking for you. They think having this relationship will heal them because it makes them feel satisfied or feel wanted or something in the moment. But if they're still looking for something to feel wanted, like this example, it's not that. One thought I've just had because of a conversation I've been having on Instagram all this week and or the last few days on that, you know, that show, I think her name is Cheyenne or something. There's this girl who has the dating show where she dates guys and they have these
on TikTok, that little girl, innit?
No, it's a mixed race girl. She had a thing with Andrew Tate before.
Did she?
She had a date with Andrew Tate. It was actually the first thing that I saw Andrew Tate really blow up with, actually. But he probably was blown up before. But they have a date and they kind of tell each other what they want in a relationship, and they get all this content out of it. But she had a thing with a guy this week who's actually one of Tate's friends, and the guy was saying, you know, you want to date a guy who's got money and all of these things and is successful, he's going to cheat on you. And that's just like you. Basically, he's trying to tell her you should accept that. And most of the comments was kind of agreeing with this idea that men are going to cheat, and that's something. It's like it was attempting to normalize that women should accept men cheating. And I think there's something in what this woman is saying where she's got that in her head as well. So she's thinking, why aren't you being this man? You're supposed to, this what you lot are supposed to do. So if you're not doing that, and I put a comment saying, I think I might have said this differently at different times in my life, but I thought about it and I thought, I don't actually think this is true. Like I've got a friend, I thought of a friend who I used to have, who I was close with, who's literally like, he's a millionaire. He owns properties all over. We used to work together. I went to his wedding. I just know from before his wedding, I know he doesn't cheat on his wife. I just know he doesn't. It's just not the type of person he is. Like they've now bought like a 3 million house. They've got kids. I don't see him so much anymore, but I already know he doesn't cheat on his wife. So I put a comment saying, actually, I don't think this is true. And the amount of people that were just like, nah, that's bullshit. The only people that are not cheating are the ones who don't provide, who are, you know, whatever. They were saying some kind of simps or whatever.
That have got the most time on their hands hopping around from lily pad to lily pad.
Yeah, it is. That's true. It's true. And it's them guys in the comments trying to convince women, yep, you lot should accept this normalization because I want to be able to cheat on you and you should get used to it. And men should have multiple wives. This is another thing, right? I saw a post today, and I don't want to bring religion into it, but it ties in. It's been a tool used for it in some ways, because there was a religious post today where it had a guy speaking and he was explaining that there's 70 million more women in America than men, right? But as a percentage, that's literally nothing. Like it's 50.0 something percent more women, right, in America. But I remember when I was younger, these people used to say that there were 7 women to every man in the world. And they actually, people used to believe this. They used to believe this. Like, there's 7 women to every man in the world. And we just believe it like it's a fact. And at one point in my life, I thought, wait a minute, wouldn't I notice that? Wouldn't I notice that walking down the street? Like, wouldn't I see like 7 more women? Like, there'd be women just everywhere. It would be crazy. And then I looked into it and I thought, actually, in the UK, so I looked at this recently, in the UK and America, randomly it is more women than men, but it's by a 0 point something percent. In the world, by a 0 point something percent, there's more men in the world. So if we break the whole thing down, you're chatting rubbish. Like, and actually there's more men. And actually, if you take them 70 million people, women, 50 million of them are not straight and date other women. Then you've got 50 million, however many men are in prison. It doesn't even equate. And the fact it's so close to 50%, you know, God don't make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's too much of that's too much coincidence that actually there's such an even number of men and women on the planet. But these guys will use, you know what I'm saying? Like, for it to be 50.00%. You know?
I'm going to use it soundbite and a clip.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I'm using this part. I'm gonna take this part as a clip, and I'm gonna be like, "Don't chat shit."
Yeah, because and I've looked into the facts now, and that's it. And it's like these guys are using any excuse to normalize just whatever lifestyle they want to be able to live, right? And I get it. I've been that guy before. I've been that guy. You know what I'm saying? I've been in a relationship where I said, yeah, men should be able to do this, this, and this. Even if I'm half joking or not, it's because you fantasize you want to live that in your head. And some of them just won't drop it, you know? And this woman, going back to the story, that woman, she's got some of that going on in her head somewhere.
In her head, yeah. Well, that was our final topic.
Yeah, that was our final topic. Thank you so much. Yeah. You was amazing. Stuck with us all the way through.
That's all good, man. I love it. I love this kind of stuff. So.
I gotta go, bitches. I'm tired. So thank you for sticking with us through all the techie difficulty stuff.
All good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You definitely
Sorry, go on that.
No, I was saying he's definitely got to come back.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, man. Anytime.
Where can everyone find you? Like, what's your Instagram handles and YouTube and that?
So, everything is Novar Flip. So it's Nova with an R. So NOVAR FLIP on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I think everything. But my YouTube is called Flip Life Media. So that's where my podcast actually goes and stuff like that. It's cool. You can actually get to it from fliplife.co.uk. That'll take you there.
Yeah, okay. Your TikTok's really good.
What's that? Which one?
Your TikTok's really good.
Oh yeah, the TikTok. Yeah, I'm just getting into that. So yeah, anyone on TikTok, follow me, man. I need more followers.
Any plans for new music?
I have. Do you know what? I've just so focused on the other stuff that I haven't gone into it. But I have a project called Social Justice Warrior. It's tied into everything I do. It's the first time in years I've made music that is tied into the social issues I talk about. Because I thought I haven't put those two things together. So I've got a song called Social Justice Warrior. I've got a song about racism. I've got a song about feminism. And they're all kind of designed to trigger people like in the way some of our question posts do. So it's like I'll post the song and I'm expecting the comments to go crazy. So that is coming. I'm just taking my time, you know. But it's done. It's finished. I'm just working out the release strategy.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing it. Let us know and we can post it and stuff as well.
You might be about to one day like one of the songs.
Yeah, we use it as a topic.
And be like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do.
That would be good.
All right.
Thanks so much
to have you, Nova.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming on. You got to come back.
Yeah, definitely.
I will. Big up, man.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, darling. Yo. Tired.
I'm so upset about the laptop. It officially doesn't like my laptops, both laptops, the old one and the new one.
What are you using? Chrome or
Chrome? Yeah, Chrome.
Maybe try Firefox.
Yeah, I might have to try something else. I'm gonna play around with it in the meantime.
Yeah, and see what's what.
I don't know what his issue is. So annoying. And I know you wasn't feeling well today. I really wanted to carry.
It's all right. We got there in the end.
You did so well.
Oh, thank you. With that said,
I knew he was going to be great.
Yeah, no, he was good.
Such a good conversationalist, and such a deep person. Yeah,
it was interesting. Interesting to talk to him. He's got to come back. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. What you got going on?
Nothing. Just I just want to go back to sleep. I don't feel well today. But just the black excellency I see I'm really excited about that. So yeah, just gonna be preparing. So as Natalie said at the top of the show, we've started our Black Excellence CIC. We are looking for Black-owned companies. So holler at us if you've got a Black-owned company and you want to trade with us at any of the events that we are going to be hosting. We're expecting the first one to be in July. So with the Black Excellence Pop-Up Fest. So just holler at us. What's the email? blackexcellencecic@gmail.com. Just send us your business ideas and what it is that you do, and and just stay tuned for more information. Other than that, just planning and strategizing for that. And I'm gonna go back to sleep now.
God, blame you. I'll get some rest.
Yeah.
Because I know you. I know you.
Yeah. No, I have rested, but at the risk of feeling whatless as well. Like I've got things to do. I got like resting's a luxury, isn't it?
That's not resting. So you need your new challenge is to rest without guilt or shame.
Yeah, it's true.
No one can ever accuse you of being whatless or lazy. I think you're allowed a minute.
Yeah, I'm certainly taking a minute.
Yeah, you're allowed it.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we hop off?
No, I'm off. I'm away on holiday next week. I'm so excited with the kids. I'm in Abu Dhabi, so I'll let you guys know how it is. I'll give you a little sneak preview of the hotel. It's the same hotel as we discovered when Goody was on last for Stamp. So I'll be getting a lot of footage, and I'll be posting a lot and giving you a little insight.
A little insight. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, needed.
Also, don't forget we've got a few packages for Stamp. If any, I've got to catch up with Goody to see what he's got left, but that's selling out really fast. So get in there with us, or at least get your wristbands if you're going to be traveling independently. But that's definitely a trip you don't want to miss. So
what's the men ratio to female ratio again?
I think it's a bit better. I think the male take up is a bit better this time, but it's still going to be more females than males. It just is.
You hear that, guys? There's going to be loads of women there.
Jenny said, night, all lovely show. Thank you for tuning in and for all of your input. I feel like we say every other week that without you guys, we wouldn't really have a platform. You're interactive. We don't really step in much to you lot, just get on with it. But I don't want to see a lot of the disrespecting either. I don't like that. I think we can challenge each other without being disrespectful, like personally disrespectful. But on a whole, just love it. Keep it going. Keep the posts coming. They are interesting. And everyone that comes on the show says we post interesting things. But a lot of that's made up of you guys.
It is. So thank you, because sometimes we are busy. So without your posts, we'd be literally scratching our heads or just making stupid shit up. To put on there. So honestly, we appreciate it. And again, apart from some obvious topics, I don't think there's any right or wrong. Just remember that everyone has an opinion and a perspective from where they've come from, and it's interesting to hear everyone's opinion and educate each other. But I don't think we can educate each other if we're calling each other out our names, calling each other out their mums' names, and because we don't like each other's opinion. I just think we've all got ways of doing it, and everyone brings so much value to the group. So I just think if you do feel triggered by anything, like I said, do what I do, just take a breather. Just take a breather and come back, or thingy your argument nicely. But I think we're all different people from different backgrounds and different thingies, different age groups, different everything. We are going to look at things very differently most of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's okay, but we don't want to get into a real life beef every time we do, we got to be able to kind of keep it cute.
Keep it all the way cute. For real.
Yeah. And that's why I don't argue, because I think, oh my gosh, if I get embroiled in these arguments, if you go low, I'm going to go to hell.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even, and I think it's good to know yourself like that. I'm not going to get involved in online drama. I'm not going to do online drama. I'm not going to work myself up, because I know what I'm like. So if you know that if someone says something you don't like, you're going to drag them to filth, just ignore it.
Ignore it. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say just ignore it, because some of the drags are funny. They're just terrible and outer. You can't do that. You can't say them things to people. I know how I could get if I get super mad, so I don't even engage in it. I know myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know yourself, and I think, you know, if I can't handle this maturely, I'm just not going to say nothing.
Just don't say nothing at all, for real.
Yeah, me just not say at all. So I would say that if you feel triggered like that,
everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It don't mean that they should go suck balls or that they're cunts or you know, I mean, like, fucking hell, man. Jesus, man. Jesus, be a damn fence, man. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Love you guys to bits, man.
We do.
Always.
We do. Right. But even the rude, dirty, stinking ones, we love you too. It's like we've got bad children. Yeah, but you're all out of order, but we love it. So keep it coming, but keep it cute. Coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, get some rest.
All right, honey. And I'll chat to you soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.